If you look at the uterine horns in both animals that are in the stage 10th or 11th day of the cycle, there is a difference between the size of the corpus luteum of this animal from that animal. This is just, you can say, a biological variation from one animal to the other. But if we talk about the texture, both are having the texture of the functional corpus luteum, and there is a dominant follicle on this ovary in a different animal, and there is a dominant follicle on, there are multiple follicle, but this one is more prominent. This is also palpable, but there are some of the follicle that are visible but not palpable. It means that the ovary is quite active, it is having a number of follicles on the ovary. And if you look, what thing is common, you look at the uterine horns, these are somewhat turgid. These are somewhat turgid. It means that there is a sufficient level of estrogen that is at a time being secreted from these follicles. So this is bit turgid, not truly turgid. If you are going to palpate such animals, they are having the external os that is closed, that is depicting that the animal is in the luteal phase. But if you look at the uterine horn, there are somewhat turgidity, and that maybe sometime can confuse you with the very first degree of endometritis also, because in clinical acute endometritis there are some kind of the swelling of the uterine horns that can confuse with the turgidity of the estrus. But we can be very clear by just examining the ovaries, and if there is a case of infection, we can just have a look over the nature of the discharge at the time of estrus, or any time if you are able to collect the sample from the uterus. But right now, the common thing in both uterine horns is that both are having somewhat turgidity. They are somewhat swollen. You can clearly demark the clear diameter of both uterine horns. So these are under the effect of estrogen, but both are at the, you can say, 10th or 11th day of the cycle, at a time having a functional CL and a fully developed follicle, or you can say the dominant follicle or palpable follicle on the ovary. So this is the case of mid-cycle estrus or 11th day of the estrus. If you look at the ovaries of these animals, I'm just going to compare it with the animal that is having the post-estrus tonicity, how it look like if we talk about the turgidity or tonicity of the uterine horns. If you look at the ovaries of this animal, this is having, these are some of the corpus luteum that are completely regressed of the previous cycle, but right now the active structure on the left ovary of this animal, this one is the corpus hemorrhagicum. This is having a cavity, plus it is in softer in texture. You can say that this is the corpus hemorrhagicum. It is just right after ovulation. You can say it is in the metaestrus of the second day of the metaestrus, or you can say just after a few hours of the ovulation, or within the second day of the ovulation. So there can be, you can say, change in the number of days, maybe the second day of the metaestrus or third, but there is a quite clear turgidity in the uterine horn. With the normal health of the animal, there is no abnormal discharge. So this is called as post-estrus tonicity. Right after ovulation in the metaestrus, some of the cow will show somewhat turgidity in the uterine horns, but as soon as you are able to palpate the ovaries, you can say that this animal is just out of the ovulation. It is in the second day of the metaestrus. That is called as post-estrus tonicity. It is not very clear in any of the animal, but some of the cows can show you the bit turgidity in the uterine horns even in the metaestrus just right after the ovulation. That's why it is known as post-estrus tonicity. If you look at these organs, these are the horn that are having the tonicity or turgidity that is of the mid-cycle with the dominant follicle. If there is no dominant follicle, then you cannot look at the turgidity. They will be just simply flaccid. I'm just going to show the tract that is having fully flaccid uterine horns, so that we can compare how the flaccid horns look like that. I think that this is now very clear. These are the very flaccid uterine horns. There is no turgidity, no swelling, or you can say there is no clear tube-like structure that making you able to identify that these are the uterine horns and there are sphere. You can measure the diameter of the uterine horns easily, or you can just palpate and feel like that this is a tube. But if you look at these organs, these are just flaccid. I mean to say that there is no life in the uterine horns. It feel like that. So this is the animal that is just at the end of the diestrus, or you can say maybe this animal is acyclic. I'm not sure about to say that without examining the animal. But if we look at the ovaries, this is the corpus luteum that is completely regressed one, maybe of the previous cycle, because if I can say that if it is the proestrus, then there must be some palpable follicle. But right now this is the only structure and there is no palpable follicle on the ovary. So it can be the corpus luteum that is fully regressed of the previous cycle, that is sometime palpable, but the clear message is that there is no effect of the estrogen right now, because the source of the estrogen, there is no follicle on the both of the ovaries right now. So these are the flaccid uterine horn. These are the flaccid uterine horn that you can look in the animal that is having acyclicity on in the anestrus or in the luteal phase without any active follicle on the ovary. And here you can easily compare, these are the turgid uterine horns, okay, that is just post estrus tonicity, and these are the animal that are having some turgidity in the mid cycle estrus. Why? Because there is a active follicle also. We know that the fate of this follicle is not the ovulation, because there is a corpus luteum that is going to send the negative feedback to the hypothalamus for the GnRH. That's why this follicle can go for the atresia. It's not going toward the ovulation, and within 1 or 2 days, these horns will be just like this animal, again the flaccid one within the luteal phase. That was all about the difference in the tonicity at different stages of this cycle. And then we have looked over the structure on the ovary, that is the corpus luteum with the dominant follicle. Then there is a corpus hemorrhagicum that is in the metristrus, and this one is the fully regressed corpus luteum of the previous cycle. Okay, thank you.